Hello everyone, VJ's832 back again with another deck report. It's been a few days, I think, since the last one, so I'll give you one. I'm going to be talking about Kickstarter. Stay tuned, I will be talking about card launcher later on. Something coming to Kickstarter, something on the losing list, and something on this deck, the Civil War. But let's start off with Kickstarter. First of all, there is the Cthulhu Mythos playing cards, bicycle branded. Might have mentioned it before. For some reason they're doing 3 different tuck cases, basically just 3 different colors, which is kind of not very appealing to collectors. If there was a tuck case that was more limited edition, had embossing and foil and metallic inks, numbered seal, whatever, that would make it more appealing and would definitely sell. But just having different colors for the hell of it without having anything that's specifically listed as limited edition, completely unappealing and unnecessary. The back design on these ones, kind of simple and looks kind of like a poker deck. The number of cards look like they're completely standard. Court cards look alright. My only problem is they've only shown us art for 2 court cards and the Ace of Spades. If that's all that's done, that's a major red flag. I've seen other campaigns that have shown us art for 3 or 4 cards and they've turned into scams. This one concerns me. Unless they're going to start selling us artwork for more of the cards, I'm staying the hell away. I mean, no offense. I'm sure she's not trying to scam anyone, but it has bad vibes for me. 41 days remaining in this one, looking for $15,000. They're at $3,100, almost $3,200 really, and I don't know if it's going to happen. Bicycle Optics playing cards, which has a optical theme. Really, 15 days left. It's not going to happen. $12,000 is the goal, and they're almost at $1,200 right now, which is terrible. Going back to the Cthulhu theme, another thing I was going to mention is that Cthulhu's have been done. There's been like 10 different decks with Cthulhu themes, at least. It's got to be something like that. And I said this about other decks before. If you're going to do a deck that has a same or similar theme to other decks, it's got to be as good as, if not better, in order to entice people to buy it. Because otherwise people are going to go, well, I already got all these Cthulhu decks. Why should I get this one? It's not that good, And what I was going to say also is, in relation to Cthulhu decks, the last Cthulhu deck that I pledged for, the Call of Cthulhu, Riven Dark by Shane Tyree, I did have a chance to chat with Shane, and he explained to me how he's got an enormous amount of artwork to do, and he's got hundreds of images for this deck. He's got a tarot deck. He's got like 4 different decks from his campaign, and he's just been busy night and day working on all this artwork, trying to get it done, and that's where that one stands. I don't know when it's going to be done. His plan right now is to have it done by Christmas, which will make it like a year-long campaign. Still don't understand why they did a second project after the first one for the same decks. It is what it is. I don't know if he just needed more money or what exactly, but I just wanted to mention that. And I appreciate him taking the time out of his busy schedule to talk to me. Let's move on. The Bicycle Definite. 6 days remaining. This one's definitely not happening. Looking for $17,000. They're at about $2,000 right now, and that's as far as they're going to go. Science playing cards. It's getting there. 19 days remain. Looking for 12,500 Australian, and they're at about $7,500 Australian, which means they still need $5,000 in 19 days. And so far they've only gotten $7,500, so I don't know if it's going to happen. To me, the back design is really goofy with all the red and black pips on it, but it is what it is. 4-point playing cards, which looks really nice. I do recommend checking out. It's already funded. 20 days remain. Hounder's playing cards, which will be printed by Expert Playing Cards and is by Robert Tomlinson and his wife. And 19 days remain. It's not looking good. Looking for $12,000. We're at $2,100 right now, and I just don't really see this one getting funded, unfortunately. A deck of manual arts. This one's not happening. 8 days left. Looking for $10,000, and they're at almost $1,400. And most of these decks have been stuck at the same dollar signs, the same dollar amounts for weeks, it seems. Then there's the Bicycle Deep, which is not looking too good. 11 days remain. Looking for $16,000. They're at about $9,700 right now. It's a very nice deck of cards. It's a staff pick on Kickstarter, and yet it hasn't funded yet. I don't know why, but I do recommend checking it out. Let's get it funded, people. Then there's the Azteca playing cards. 49 days remain in this one. Freaking long campaign. I do not understand why people do campaigns for a month and a half, 2 months. It does not guarantee funding. It just guarantees an extra long campaign that everyone has to sit through and see every time they search for stuff on Kickstarter, and it doesn't guarantee anything. It's just annoying. But 49 days remain. Looking for $7,000 for USB-C printed deck, I believe it is, and they're currently at $500 after a slow start, and may or may not make it. At this rate, it's hard to tell, but it's not something that I see being overly successful. Then there is the Moon cards. 8 days remain in this one. Not going to happen. It's just, they're not very attractive at all. Unappealing would be a word to describe them. $15,000 is the goal. We're at about $1,800 right now. King's Cup cards, which is based on a drinking game. They got nothing. Absolutely no backers, no funding. 20 days remaining. $2,000 goal, and they're at zero. Metro Ball Lux, which is the sequel to the Metro Ball Nox. The other one being a dark or night theme. This one being a light or day theme. 21 days remain. Looking for $12,000 Canadian, which is about the same as US currency-wise. And they're at $8,300 right now. It should get funded. Bicycle Day of the Dead, not looking good. This is the latest from Collectible Playing Cards. I noticed they haven't launched any other decks since the last one. This is the second one in a row that is not doing good. The last one being the Baking Lovers, which absolutely failed despite a very low goal. Actually, it's about the same. Maybe it was $5,000. I don't remember. But this one's looking for $6,000. They're at $2,250 right now. 10 days remain. Not doing good. They're only just over a third of the way. And kind of like the Cthulhu decks, same thing. This one's been done. There's been a couple of decks for sure within the last few months that have come out, and 2 of them at least were very good, did very well, and this one just seems like it's late to the party and not that good, and people just aren't interested. And it's not. There was another deck that came out, another Day of the Dead bicycle deck that came out previously, and it did not do good either, and this one is going the same boat. Speaking of which, Collectible Playing Cards does have the Bicycle Bacon Lovers deck available through Crowd Tilt. There's a link on the website if you can find it. I think they were looking for $1,000. They surpassed that. Now they're looking for $2,000, and they were really close to that. Terrible, is my opinion, that they're trying to fund this on their website because they failed on Kickstarter, and they're doing even worse than they were. They're not doing any better. My opinion is, clearly there's not a whole lot of interest in this deck. They're lucky if they can get $2,000 for it. They're going to be taking a $7,000, $8,000 loss on this deck, and they might be able to sell some to other Magic sites or card sites, but they probably won't have much interest in buying a deck of cards that nobody wants to buy because it don't hurt them financially. So this begs the question, why is Collectible Playing Cards continuously pumping out decks of cards that people have little to no interest in, that is only costing them money and not selling? I really don't understand why take the financial risk on decks, especially like the Baking Lovers, And probably they're going to do the same thing for the Day of the Dead once it fails, if it fails. And it just doesn't sound financially reasonable to me. Why take a financial risk on something that people just aren't interested in? But anyways, moving along, then we got the 1876 Mulger Quadruplicate playing cards. It's the second deck from the, I guess, the home run games. The original one was the triplicates, which should be shipping soon if they're not already. I am actually involved with this one as a crew member, so I recommend checking it out. Beautiful, elegant, well, maybe not elegant, but beautiful vintage replicas. They even got one deck that is a complete replica of the original. The original was missing one card. It was a misprint, and they have printed this one in the exact same manner if you want to get that one. You don't have a missing card, but that's the way it was originally produced by mistake, and it's being reproduced again with the mistake intentionally. So they're already funded with a goal of $20,000. They have just surpassed that. 27 days remain. Like I said, go check it out. Moving along, Pirate cards. 28 days remain funded. Not really going too far. They're still at $4,200, but they were funded. And I'm just going to have to pass because there's some things that I don't like, and I can't afford to buy every deck on Kickstarter. And that's that. Another new deck is the Castle and Kingdom playing cards. They're going to be printed by USBC as well. Looking for $9,000. We're at $578 off to a slow start, but they just launched. 24 days remain, or 34 days remain, I should say. This one has a fairy tale fantasy type theme. They do have custom pips on the number cards, which is nice. Originally that wasn't the case from what I can tell. And they're not bad. I'm not sure how I feel about the bat design. It's not bad. I don't know if there's borders or not. But I just, like I said, I can't afford to support every deck on Kickstarter, and this is one that I'm just, unfortunately, I'd like to support, but I don't think that I can at this point in time. Then there's the Black Book Manifesto playing cards. 6 days remain. They have surpassed the goal. Definitely check it out. Then there's the Mana playing cards number 3, Sybil Levita, and the 2 Reserve decks, Gold Reserve and Platinum Reserve. Those are both sold out at the moment. 20 days remain. They have far surpassed their goal, doing very well. I believe there will be some of the reserves available this weekend sometime, if that hasn't happened already. Then there's the Milan playing cards by System 6 Magic. 24 days remain. Looking for $9,000. We're at about $6,400. It should get funded. Very nice decks. There is a limited edition and a standard edition, with the limited edition having, I forget what the difference is, but there is some differences. I think metallic inks and nicer blocks and stuff like that. Definitely nice. Native American theme. You should check it out. Another new deck is the Kids deck, which has 3 different decks being printed by the USBC. One is a red, one is a blue, and one says it's ABC 1, 2, 3. Yay. They look like they're designed by kids, and they're for kids. Definitely interesting, definitely different. The back designs, like I said, it's 3 different ones. They're goofy, one-way design. They got pips on the back design, but they're actually not bad like the Science deck in my opinion. And I just don't see it getting funded. 30 days remain. They're looking for $30,322. They had to be very specific. And they're at $1,600 right now. My problem is, I said it before, if you're a first timer on Kickstarter, and we're seeing it with like a dozen different decks, first timers on Kickstarter having difficulty reaching $8,000-$10,000 goals for one single deck. This guy's looking for over $30,000 for not 1, not 2, but 3 decks of cards. And I just don't see it happening. And especially with the theme. It's by somebody known as Magic House Publishing. It's an interesting theme, but it's really kids and magic specific. I don't see a lot of collectors being overly interested in this. I'm going to have to pass myself because, like I said, I can't buy everything that's on Kickstarter. And it's just really goofy, and I just don't see any use for it. It's not very usable for Magic unless it's performing for kids. Not usable for poker or cards, unless of course again you're playing kids games with kids, and it's just not going to do well in my opinion. Then there's the Empire Bloodlines playing cards, very well funded. They were looking for $37,000. They're at almost $60,000. 5 days remain. They have released a new limited edition deck which has a black back design with the standard faces, white faces, whatever. Looks pretty good. I'm not happy about having 3 decks to buy in one campaign, but it is what it is. Next up, Suitable playing cards, which is dead. 18 days remain, looking for $10,900. They have not been able to budge from $900, which is far from their goal. It's just a horrible looking deck of cards, unfortunately. I mean, I hate saying that about any deck on Kickstarter, but it is. It's not very good. Number cards are standard. Court cards, not very good. The back design is horrible. The Joker looks like Humpty Dumpty. And the box looks kind of horrible as well, unfortunately. Then, quick query, 48 hours, funded, and again, not a very attractive deck of cards. The one I mentioned before, Fantastic Fur, that was funded, and also the Bicycle Black Edition, Refined, BE Refined, that failed. They plan for a second relaunch in the near future with some changes. In my opinion, I'm not even going to bother. Another new deck of cards is the Battle Spades playing cards. Again, not doing good. Don't think it's going to get funded. 26 days remain. We're looking for $8,000. They're at $300. They're doing the worst of all the decks on Kickstarter, not including the King's Cup. And they launched a day or two ago already. The back design isn't bad, except it is a one-way design, again, because of pips. Why does everyone put pips on the back design? God, it's annoying me. And the faces are interesting, kind of weird. They also have a stretch goal for a nude deck. Yay. So far that's not helping. And let's see if there's anything else. I don't know where I got caught off there, but anyways, that's it for Kickstarter. I'll get on to card launcher in a minute. First of all, Illusionist, as I may have been saying before I got cut off, has a new whiskey themed deck coming out in the very near future. They just teased a picture of it. I don't know who's designed it or what it looks like, but it looks pretty cool. Fear 11 may or may not be having a deck put out that is related to MailChimp.com. There's a rumor going on. I do know that Fear 11 mentioned that they had 4 decks coming out on their forum, but I don't see that thread anymore. I don't know why. But those are supposed to come out this month. So far, I haven't seen anything. David Blaine's Gatorback decks have not come out yet. They're supposed to be out before the end of July. Hasn't happened. They've been saying coming soon since last Black Friday. That's many, many months ago, and I'm very disappointed we haven't seen them yet. Although I have seen a picture of David Blaine using them, so they gotta be coming very soon. These decks, Civil War, Jackson Robinson was doing a release of a limited version on his website. I think it happens today at noon. He was releasing 200. To me, it's very unappealing. He's charging $30 for a set of the red and blue. The only difference from these is that the boxes will have some embossing and foil and numbered seals. They're going to cost $30 for a set. That's $15 a deck. You can get the exact same thing right now on the USPC website or other Magic websites for $3.99 each. Why the hell would you spend $15 each? You actually have to spend $30 because you have to buy the set. You can't buy them individually. $30 for the exact same thing you can get for $8. Definitely pass for me, and I don't recommend it. I recommend get these. They're the exact same thing. Why do you need a numbered seal? Some extra, embossing or foil? You don't need it. Not for that much money. which is clearly way too much. Also, USBC has a new deck coming out called, I believe it's Craft Beer. It's a beer themed deck, one-way back design and all. It reminds me of the Lucha Libre deck and another deck they had, the Panda deck, I think it was. Kind of goofy but interesting, and that's coming out soon. Not sure when. Dan and Dave still have a deck coming out soon. One deck that I know coming to Kickstarter.com is by Zagan, someone that I know on Facebook. It's a nice looking deck of It's called the Symphony. Elegant, beautifully designed. Somehow did not win a contest on Playing Card Forum to get produced, which is disappointing. But it will be released on Kickstarter in the near future. And if there's one deck I recommend getting on Kickstarter, it's this one. Anyway, like I said, Dan and Dave do have a deck that's been known about for a while. It's coming out. Kickstarter, like I say, don't really recommend using it. But this one deck I do recommend getting. It's going to be on Kickstarter. And it's the only one I recommend getting on Kickstarter right now. And it's going to be the nicest one they've ever had. And the best one they've ever had. And what else can I say? I know the Lux playing cards through jpplayingcards.com will be coming at the end of the month for a pre-release. Those are designed by Randy of Midnight Playing Cards. He also has a new deck himself coming out, which has it's called a Draconian, I believe. It's got a dragon theme, I believe. Pretty interesting looking. Two different colors. They're going to be on Kickstarter. Not sure if it's going to be through House of Playing Cards or not. And that's that. As far as Card Launcher is concerned, Card Launcher is having lots of issues. Originally they were supposed to launch August the 1st. That didn't happen. Got pushed up until August the 15th. Which was basically yesterday at midnight. Technically, I guess, for me it was Thursday at 11 p.m. It was Eastern Time, midnight. And they've had major issues ever since. Haven't been able to... people having issues pledging for different decks, getting an email address to contact, which didn't work. Now people are missing out on early birds because of the issues. They're going to be releasing more early birds. They were having a contest where every 25th person would win a couple of decks of cards. And some people are upset they're going to be announcing the winners even though they haven't been able to participate, which I think is BS. The decks they have right now, they have the Canadiana, which was previously on Kickstarter last year, I believe it was. Did not do very well. He's got 3 different back designs. Looking for a couple of $1,000, $1,000 or $2,000, whatever it was. He's about 50. Yeah, I'm not sure where I left off, but back to Card Launcher. It's been a disaster since launching. And it continues to be a disaster, and people continue to have difficulty getting different decks. This despite weeks and weeks and weeks of testing. And now, some people have said they're rewarding the beta testers with prizes, despite the fact that they're having all sorts of issues. And of course they're having this contest where every 25th backer receives a prize. And people are upset about that because many people have not been able to pledge. Anyways, the decks on there, like I was saying, Canadiana by Phil. 3 different versions. There's the original one they had on Kickstarter, which is their standard one. And there's 2 limited edition versions. They had a goal of, I believe, $2,000. They're about 57% funded. Then there's the Venexiana Dark, which is a version of the Venexiana cards, a new one. It's going to be done by Expert Playing Card Companies. Expert Playing Card Company. Currently, it's 7% funded, with 33 days left. There is going to be a 2,000 deck limited edition, all numbered. And it's going to be really nice looking. There is a another limited edition. There's two versions. There's the unlimited edition and the limited edition. For some reason, the limited edition is available, but not the unlimited edition, which is kind of weird and confusing. They look pretty nice, but again, it's kind of just a reprint of the other decks, except that's not going to be USB-C. And I'd like to recommend checking out these decks and everything, but unfortunately, it's hard to do when the website doesn't work. And back to the Canadiana, that's going to be produced by Make Playing Cards. 57% funded. At $1,000, they got 574. 33 days in. They're not too cheap. They're like $15 each. And like I said, 2 limited edition decks look awesome. For me, I like it because I'm Canadian and I want these decks. But who knows if it's going to happen. Another deck that's on there is the Brimstone, which is from Gambler's Warehouse. It's a reprint. It's a new color of the Brimstone decks. It's a green color basically. And they're also reprinting the original red version. They bought the artwork from Russell some time in the past. Once again, I'm disappointed that Gambler's Warehouse is just doing recolors of previous decks, like they have with the Dragon Backs and more recently the Skulls. If that's all they're going to do, good luck to you. I'm not sure it's going to work very well and I mean, so far they haven't done a whole lot of business on the Skull decks, but it is what it is. And then there's the evil deck, or I should say the good deck, from a new designer, and it's going to be printed by the Expert Playing Card Company. I don't recall the name of the guy, but he won a contest for his first deck, the Evil deck, that was on the playingcardforum.com. And the prize was a production of a gross, I believe it was, of the deck, 144. And he's giving away some of those. I mean, he's selling some of those in his campaign. But the main deck in his campaign is the sequel to that, the good deck. Basically, one has an evil theme, one has a good theme. Kind of goofy and cartoony, and I'm going to pass just because of that. And the back design is so-so, but like I said, I can't afford to get everything. And apparently there's also going to be a signature edition, which is just going to be a signed deck, basically. Anyway, and apparently there's surprises for $20,000 and $35,000 stretch goals, if they even make it that far. At this rate, I'm going to say that, card launch has been a bust. A lot of issues, a lot of people upset. Nothing is going well, despite the fact that they promoted the hell out of this for months, and it's just gone to shit, basically. Anyways, that is that. I apologize for a very long video. Very strongly apologize, and I'll see you next time.